Last Tuesday, the Minister cautioned, and I quote, people to be very wary of unsubstantiated reports that may be put into the public domain, end quote. What caution did the Minister take in the very same press conference when he said that last week's death of Reza Berati at the Manus Island facility occurred outside the facility's perimeter?
What happens in these situations, as ministers previous opposite will know, is that information can be patchy and it is rarely perfect on those first occasions. I reported the information I had as of that morning, and later that afternoon, when I returned to Canberra, I received further briefings and I gave a press conference where I said quite clearly in relation to where Mr Berati, known as the deceased at that time, the circumstances surrounding his death. And I said, in terms of the man who died, he had a head injury, and at this stage it is not possible to give any further detail on that, including now, based on subsequent reports, including where this may have taken place. On the afternoon of that very Tuesday, I further qualified the report I had given that morning. Over the course of that week, I received further briefings. I dispatched my Deputy Secretary to Manus Island. I dispatched General Campbell to Manus Island. And over the course of the weekend, and on Friday night, on Saturday in particular, I received further information that made it very clear that it was important to make a further correction to that earlier report.
Precisely at what time and on which day was the Minister first advised that the information he provided in his previous press conferences was wrong?
On the afternoon of the Tuesday, I had received a further briefing, and I reported on that afternoon that there were conflicting reports. That's what I said on Tuesday afternoon. Over the balance of the week, I received further information, and on Saturday I received information that made it clear that it was essential to correct the record, which I did on Saturday.
The Minister has said he first received information on Tuesday questioning the precise location of Mr Berati's death. So why did the Minister not release his correction to the media until Saturday night at 8:44 p.m?
Let me read to the opposition spokesperson exactly what I said on the Tuesday afternoon. I'm not going to make assumptions until I have further information on that, referring to the details of what had occurred to the deceased. Where physically this took place, based on the information I have received this afternoon, that is a matter where there are some conflicting reports. A journalist then asked, what are the conflicting reports? And I say, well, the reports are conflicting on where the individual man might have been at the time. That is the report, Madam Speaker, I gave on the Tuesday afternoon, immediately reporting in the press conference that there were conflicting reports about the nature of that incident and where the individual might have been when those incidents occurred. Now, those opposite asked about what time, and in particular the manager of opposition business, Madam Speaker, and I asked the manager of opposition business, how long did it take him after the Nauru Processing Centre burnt to the ground to announce— now you get up, don't you? I've got you to your feet now.
On a point of order, there are no end of opportunities in this House for political point scoring.
This is not a point
We are dealing with an issue where a man—
The manager will resume his seat. Resume your seat.
Mr, who is the person on Manus Island in charge of the detention facility? Prior to the death of Mr Reza Berati, how often did the Minister speak to that person? When did the Minister first speak to that person after the death of Mr Berati? And how often has the Minister spoken to that person since?
The operations manager, Madam Speaker, is an appointee of the Chief Migration Officer of the Papua New Guinean government, Mr Rabura. I first met the operations manager when I visited the centre when I was in opposition, and I met him personally when I was there and visiting that centre in September of last year. And on a regular basis, my officers in my department regularly engage with that operations manager, and I maintain that contact through the department, as I do with Mr Rabura. The member raises an important question about the jurisdictional issues regarding this centre. This centre is run by the Government of Papua New Guinea. The Australian Government supports the Government of Papua New Guinea in running that centre through the arrangements which were established under the former government, and we work within those arrangements.